Joining me now, Harry Litman, former U.S. Attorney, former Deputy Assistant Attorney General, now L.A. Times legal affairs columnist and host of the Talking Feds podcast. Good to see you, Harry. AOC admits that politically the odds are against this, but legally, is this an opinion that Congress should consider?
It's actually in reverse. So I think what she admits is it's not going to really fly politically and legally. You know, we've had one justice impeached in the entire history of the country. Very few have even gone to this point. One of them, actually, President Ford moved to impeach a justice. But what she's gone off on, AOC, is a failure to recuse. And as we know, that's, you know, something that they arrogate to themselves, one of the many things. So the standard to call it a high crime and misdemeanor is really a very, very tough showing because they just applied their own rules. So I think it's more about upping the ante, keeping the focus on them in general. This is a term in which the Supreme Court really, among many other things it did, really weakened Congress as a branch. And I think it's in that context, rather than a bona fide legal effort to make Alito and Thomas the first justices ever to be impeached, that this motion resides.
Look, let's dig into this a little further, because AOC cites more than $1.5 million in goods, cash equivalents, and services from billionaire benefactor Harlan Crow that Thomas failed to disclose over the years. But Democratic senators are taking a different approach. They're asking the Attorney General to launch a criminal investigation. Look, Harry, you've worked at the highest levels of the DOJ. Do you see a world in which Merrick Garland appoints a special counsel to investigate a Supreme Court justice?
No, not this world and these allegations. They are ethical, and it's a really lamentable situation that they are the hens guard the hen house, or whatever. They are the keepers of their own standards on impeachment. That's outrageous, and attempting to change that ought to be a congressional priority. Of course, it might run right into the brick wall of the court saying we have final word, but that, rather than an actual special counsel, I think is the hopeful route, even though White House and Wyden, I think, have done this in a way that also puts attention on an outrageous situation, not just the millions of dollars, but the failure to disclose. We've never seen anything quite like the whole lifetime of largesse that Thomas has enjoyed because of one highly conservative benefactor.
And look, Justice Thomas, I mean, he's more or less given ammunition to Judge Aileen Cannon in his concurrence on Trump's immunity ruling by casting a shadow of a doubt on the legitimacy of special counsel Jack Smith's appointment. Trump's lawyers, in fact, used it in their latest filings. Jack Smith then responded late Friday, asking Cannon to not rely on that. How do you expect Judge Cannon to proceed?
You never know with Judge Cannon. You're totally right. It's the equivalent of a conference call, but through the federal reports. Here's what Thomas wrote. He said, I totally agree with Roberts. I totally agree with my colleagues. I write separately to highlight another way in which it may violate our constitutional structure. Really? He writes separately just to kind of talk a little bit about what? The very motion that is in front of Judge Cannon. Now, of course, would Judge Cannon actually take the hint and apply it to the very motion in front of her? You bet she would. And it really has this unseemly communication, you know, across the wires through the U.S. reports. Why this, you know, sole concurrence saying, I just want to highlight a few things that are not really at issue here now that we've decided it this way. It's one of the many, you know, Justice Sotomayor talked a while ago about a stench. It's a growing stench and permeates now, you know, different aspects of American political and legal life.
Deep sigh is my reaction to that. Okay, Harry Litman, thank you so much.
Hey there, MSNBC fans. I'm Luke Russert, and be sure to join me, Rachel Maddow, Jen Psaki, Lawrence O'Donnell, Steve Kornacki, Joy Reid, and many more September 7th in Brooklyn, MSNBC Live Democracy 2024. Click on the link for ticket information. We will see you there.